Hi, this is Bill Uren. What I'm about to present is manual functional testing. And I'll be covering three topics: test case design in ALM Test Lab, associate test case with parameters, test execution report, and PDF format. And as we know, not all functional tests can be done automatically, and some are actually done manually. Now I'm going to show you how manual tests can be done. Now let's open our test management tool. I'll be running using Internet Explorer. Go to the top, click on Application Lifecycle Management. Now let's log in onto the ALM desktop client. Login page comes in. Now I'm going to put the super secret password. Authenticate. At this instance, we have the capability of choosing a domain, but right now it's only one created and holding multiple projects. Imagine having the capability of seeing your tests and your projects anytime and anywhere on your preference. Now I'm going to go to choose AOB project, login. Now upon login, as you can see on the left, there is a complete SDLC cycle and SDLC cycle. And from dashboard reporting, as we click on the left, analysis view and dashboard view, we have the requirements gathering, so we can actually gather requirements, and we have a full testing suite, defects management, and being able to actually see the development as well, like the builds and code changes. Now, let's go straight to the topic. Let's create a test plan. Now, imagine the capability of holding different types of tests. It may be manual or automated, or maybe performance tests, and putting them in one page. And probably if you're running actually thousands and thousands of cases, so you have full capability of tracing back what is the history of the test, if it passes or it fails. Now, let's create a folder to hold our test. So let's say it will be manual test. Okay. Now let's create a manual test inside that folder. Since we are actually testing a flight application at this demo, so I will be writing flight underscore GUI underscore test. And now, as we go to the right, we can actually choose what type of test we're actually doing, and there's a lot of capabilities of creating a test here. So we can actually do a performance test, a lean FT test, which is more of like shift left type of testing, and there's like business process. So there's quite a few which is supported here. And in this demo, we're going to be choosing the manual test. And if we look at the status, since we are in the design stage, let me just click that. We're going to be choosing design. Now let's press OK. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of different tabs actually supported here. So we have the details, we can actually see the test name, and the type, the designer, which is myself, which is the administrator. The creation date is actually the date when it's actually created, and most important is the test ID as a source of reference. And right here on the design steps, so instead of actually putting it into an Excel file where we actually save in a local folder, so we have a centralized place to actually write our design steps for the test, and we can actually parameterize the steps itself. So what else it can do? So we can actually also link the test case to a requirement, and of course in every test design there's a requirement involved as a first step. So we can actually select a requirement from here and click down the requirements. Let's choose demo data. So we have quite a few requirements right now. And as you can see, we can also see loads of release dates for the requirements. And now, for the sake of the demo, we could actually choose one. Well, let's get something from the application summary. Let's choose some application functionality, and let's say add remove functionality. So let's choose that. And now the requirement is actually directly linked to add remove functionality. And as we go to the top, there's link defects. So right now, since the design of the test is only being created right now, so we don't have defects at this stage, but we can actually directly link it to the link page. So we can actually have full traceability from the testing, from requirements and testing, and if it fails, it automatically inserts in the defects. So if we actually go to the left top of the folder, so link existing defect, and we can select by ID or select it manually. And right now we have the capability of choosing the defect and link it to our test. Also, if we go to the requirements tab, click that, go to the requirements. If we choose, for example, under the application summary, click that. Um, Probably make it bigger, drag it down. Let's choose supported OS. Click that. Now when it opens, if we go to the left, we can actually link it to a defect or to a test coverage. Now if we select the test coverage, we can actually see the manual test that we created and directly attaching it to the requirement itself. Now let's go back to the test lab. So let's click the test lab. Now let's create a design step. Go to design steps tab. Let's create a step. Now let's go to step name. Let's say launch application. And the description should be launch uh, the application and login. Now let's create a parameter. And as you can see, there's no parameter. So let's do a new parameter. Since this is a desktop application, so let's say executable or exit. Let's press OK. Press OK. Now we have an exit parameter. Now the expected results, the flight application should be launched and login page should appear. Since step 1 has been finished, let's go to the next step. So let's say the application step name is login application, login to application, and enter username, and let's enter a parameter for that. So let's say username, let's press OK, press OK. Now, so let's say enter password. So the parameter will be password. You've guessed it, of course, password. Press OK. Press OK. Now after entering the password, we press login button. We spell that. Expected result is after successful login, the flight search should appear. Okay, so let's go to the next step. So let's say find flights. Now enter from flight. So will be, let's enter a parameter since it changes. So it's from flight. That's okay. That's okay. Enter to flight. So let's create a parameter for that. To flight. That's okay. That's okay. Enter um, flight date. Parameter. Let's create a parameter for that. So flight date. Okay. That's okay. So choose class. So parameter for, let's say, class. Okay. That's okay. And let's enter uh, tickets. So parameter for tickets. Let's say choose sorry um, enter number of tickets. So let's create a parameter for that. Number of tickets. Okay, press OK. Now, after entering the number of tickets, um, um, press button find flights. Okay, so the expected results is once the flight details has been entered, uh, we press flight button and a list of available flights will appear. Okay, so let's create another step. Now on step 4, let's name it select flight. Now at this stage there will be no parameters, so it will be click selected flight, and so expected result once once flight is selected, flight details should appear. That's okay. Let's choose another step. So let's say enter passenger name, and the step will be enter passenger name too. So this will be a parameter. So let's put a parameter there. New parameter. Passenger name. Press OK. press OK, and the expected result after entering passenger name, press order button, and the expected result once the order button um, order page should appear completed. And I think this completes the one cycle, so let's press OK, and we have a full summary of what I've done. So we have launched the application and log into the application. We find the flights, select a flight, and enter the passenger name. Now, after creating the test plan, we're going to execute the plan now. So we go to the test lab for the execution. Now, on the test lab, let's create a folder again. Let's name it manual test. And within that manual test, let's create a flight application. Test suite. Press OK. Now let's select a test that we created. So from the test plan, let's go to the manual test and flight GUI test, and now it will be part of the test suite. Okay, so let's press OK. Now, as you can see, it's been loaded now to the test suite, and we can actually create multiple tests on an execution. So you could have um, thousands of tests altogether that can be run all together. So depending on how we execute our test, and right now, this demo we're actually showing one test only. Now, to be able to run this test, we're gonna go to the run button at the top, and we get to choose what type of test we're gonna be doing. It can be a run with Sprinter and continue manual run, and at this stage we're gonna be using run with manual runner. Now, as you can see from the top, it shows the what type of manual testing we're actually using. So it's manual runner that we choose, and it also shows the title of the test suite and the test plan that we created, which is the flight GUI test, the run name, the test instance, the tester, which is myself, and the status right now is not completed, and the test set name. And we could actually put comments here as well. You could write a comment, and since it supports some collaboration, it shows the date and the person who's actually doing the test. So this is the first test, I would say. Okay, and the test description. So we can actually say what will be the description of the test. So right now, let's begin the run. As you can see, let's maximize it so you could see it better. Now, um, we created parameters, and that we can actually have a default value or the actual value. So right now, let's go to the executable since this is the first step. Let's say the actual value is click executable. Now let's enter the flight date. The flight date, the actual value, let's say the date today, which is 11 slash 27 slash 2019. So let's say the from flight, let's say will be London, and let's say the number of tickets will be one. Let's say the passenger name will be myself, Bill Uren, and let's say the to flight will be Paris, and let's go to the username, which is John, and password will be HP, and the class, let's say, will be economy. Now, after finishing the parameters, let's press OK.
Steps.
Now let's make it bigger. And if we go to the left, we can actually see the step name. And now it's actually no run and the execution date and the execution time. So it reflects the date today and the time when the test is going to be done. So it says launch the application and log in. So let's do that. So let's go to the application itself. So it's going to be my flight application. So right here on the left, click that. Now it also says and login. So as the parameter mentioned, we entered John and enter HP. Now login is successful. So when the expectation is actually achieved, let's put a same as expected. And launch application. Now we can actually choose block, failed, not applicable, not completed, and at this stage is actually passed. Okay, so same on the launch application. So we actually created two. So it says we've done already. Enter username and enter the password. Let's say same as expected. It passed. Okay. Now we're in the um, find flights page. So because we entered from the test, the from flight will be London, and we can choose a variety. But this test will be choosing London, and the to flight will be Paris. Okay. So right now, and it says we choose the date 11/27, and due to the error, we need to enter like 28 since today is 28. Okay, that's 8. Right, so enter that 28. Let's say ticket will be 1 and class is economy. Okay, and press button find flight. So it says once the flight details has been entered, we press flight button and a list of available flights will appear. So we actually say same as expected. Let's say pass. So look at how easy it is of actually doing a manual test because we can open um, and plan the test and run it wherever we are. So we can actually doing creating a test plan in our office or outside the office, and then creating the parameterizer on different type of test scenarios. And this is the power and capability of this test management tool. Now we're going to the select flight now. Now on select flight, click select flight. So I'll choose probably 139 USD. Then select a flight. Once the flight selected, flight details should appear. So select a flight. So flight details appear, same as expected. Let's say it has passed. Okay, and enter passenger name. So let's go to that place. So let's say Bill Uren, which is myself, and press order button. And order page should appear completed. So on the right, we have order 93 completed. So let's say same as expected. So let's pass that. Since we have finished the test, all the steps, we're going to go to the stop button. So choose end run. Do you want to save the changes in test plan module? Yes, we're going to change it. Some of the test steps contain parameters, and yes, we're gonna press yes. Now we go back to the test management tool. As you can see, the execution has actually been done, and the status is now passed. And if we go below, we have a complete report of all the steps which has passed, when is the execution date, and when is the execution time. We have the full description and the expectation and the actual. So we can always browse to the history, which is accessible anytime, anywhere. Now on this test execution, we can actually directly create a report out of it. So if you go to the analysis, put project reports and report selected, choose that. Now it generates a full report, and this report will say what the test configuration created by, the created date, the execution status, the ID, and the test configuration name. So there's quite a few information actually gathered here. Now for our full report. Now we could also change it into a full PDF report to be submitted, or an HTML report. So at this instance, I choose PDF. Now as you can see, the test instance and the test case and the test suite has been converted to PDF, so we can have the power now to be able to put in a file system in the test management tool, or we can send it via email to our managers to say the proof that the pass has been, the test has actually passed. Thank you so much for watching my channel. This is Billy Ren. I hope you continue watching my video series.